Okay, so let's talk about your subscription business. For subscriptions is a little bit different. You don't really have a product that you're selling and then someone collects it and then, or a service, somebody collects it and then goes away. They may come back next month, they may come back every month, but they may not come back at all. A subscription is different. Ideally in a subscription, you have people paying a little bit of money every single month and it kind of goes from there. You'll gain new customers who will pay and you'll lose some customers who will pay. So you have a few less variables to change here, but let's go into them one by one. So first is the number of trials you have every month. So most subscription businesses start off with like a trial period, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. We're using a 30-day average because it's just easier to calculate. So let's say you have 100 new people trying your service every single month. And then every month, how fast is that going to grow? Similar to the e-commerce model. So let's say every month you're going to get 10%. You're going to grow by 10%, right? Then how many of those people, what percentage of those people are going to try your service and actually convert into a paying customer, right? Let's say again, it's 5%, maybe your service is really, really great. So, and that's the problem with offering things free. A lot of people try, very few buy. But it's a great way to introduce people to your service, especially if you're going to be billing them over time. Then how quickly are you going to grow in paid subscriptions? So this is important because as you get better, you are going to also be increasing how many people you retain. So let's say 15%, right? Then the average revenue per client. If you only have one subscription level, let's say it's 5,000, then that's fine. You just put in 5,000. But let's say you have 3 different levels. One is 1,000. One is 3,000 and one is 5,000, right? So that's 1 plus 3 plus 5, that's 9. Divided by 3, that's 3,000. So on average, people are going to be paying you 3,000. So we're going to put that in there as 3,000. And then you're going to say, how many customers do you think you're going to lose every month? Every month you lose a couple of people who don't want to pay for their service and blah, blah, blah. And you're going to try to keep that number down, but it's still going to be a thing. You can't control their life events. You can't force them to pay. So let's say you're going to lose 10% of all your customers. Now, what this does is it calculates 2 things. Your revenue, your monthly recurring revenue, and your lifetime revenue per client, and your average lifetime of customer in months. That's 4 things. But 2 of them are related, so I always think of them as 2 things. So the first thing is your revenue. So how much in a particular month are you going to collect as revenue? And how is that going to change over time? Then how many months will the average customer stay with you? In this case, it's about 10 months before they churn. And over the course of that lifetime, they're going to pay you about 30,000 naira. Now that we have our subscription and our e-commerce model, I've left the e-commerce available so you can kind of see in the profitability sheet what happens when you combine the 2. So let's go quickly to the profitability sheet to look what's happening. You don't have any costs yet. So you can see from the day 1, we're already profitable because we don't have any costs. And you can see that it keeps both if you're doing a hybrid model, right? So let's go into your costs. So your costs are your recurring expenses. These are the things that you will be paying for as your business grows and scales and whatever, right? When you first start, most of these will be blank. So for example, you won't be paying any salaries, you won't be paying rent, your technology costs will be like $20 to $30 a month. You just won't have to worry about any of these things. But it's nice to have them in your model just so you know where you start getting profitable. So let's say you wanted to hire a CEO. Let's say the CEO is you and you want to start collecting a salary in April. Let's say you want to start collecting a salary of 150,000 naira every month starting in July. I'd put in July from an earlier one, so we're just going to leave it at July. Then maybe you're going to hire a graphic designer. You're going to pay that person 50,000 naira a month starting from January. And you're going to pay a social media writer 30,000 a month, also starting from January. So you're not going to get a salary, but you're going to be paying other people, right? And you can see it won't start till July, where you start collecting a salary, but everybody else be collecting a salary. let's say same thing, July, then you're going to start paying rent because you'd have been running this business for about this July will be your 7th month. And you found a great deal on a place that will charge you 150,000 a month as well. You know what? Let's be generous. Let's make it 250,000. Right? And so you're paying 3 million a year in rent starting in July. And this is what's called amortizing. Like you spread it out, your 3 million, you spread it out across all the months. Then hosting expenses in April, maybe you're going to start paying 100,000. Right? Here's the thing about this. You can go in and change, but you have to be very careful because once you change it, the formula will disappear. And then you may have to like re-download the sheet and reuse it. So just be very careful if you're changing these actual values because they're based on formulas. Now marketing. Marketing is a huge one. It's a really important one. You may not market at all, but you should take in all expenses if you plan to. So for example, let's say you're planning to go to like digital ads and you're planning to have a budget for that. Let's say you want to spend 50,000 a month. You would put that there. Let's say you wanted to hand out flyers. You would put that there. So let's just say all your acquisition campaigns, your budget is 75,000 every single month starting in January. Right? 75,000 every single month. And that's it. That will give you all the costs. So you'll start off paying about 155,000 a month. Then in April, it will go to 255. In July, it will go to 656. So this gives you a good idea. And if you look at the end of the year, you would have spent about 5 million. If you don't have 5 million in the bank, then you hope your business is going to generate enough money. And then I'm just going to show you this, chart, right? If you are going to this is how much you're going to be spending every month on average, 430,000 just to keep this business running if you're not going to be making any money, right? So now the fun part, let's look at profitability. So if you notice, whenever it's red, you're making a loss. So it's normal for companies the first few months to be making a loss because you haven't really figured anything out. You're not selling, you haven't reached your break even. You'll hit your break even in about May, right? And then you'll start making a little bit of profit and everything will be great based on the things that we've put in. But in July, when we pay rent, we're going to make a loss again that month. And then we're going to keep going from there. So looking at this financial model, you can tell that if this business was structured in this way, you would have a pretty profitable business. 7 million in profit in a year is nothing to turn your nose at. It's nothing to sneeze at. Like that's a fairly healthy business. Now, for your business, things will be different. Try to make assumptions, blah, blah, blah. But your financial model is a great place to start. So this particular business, we've validated it. We've known that, okay, it's probably something that we should try out and get into. But we made a lot of assumptions. We made assumptions about churn, about everything. So what I advise to do is keep track of some of these numbers. And as they get validated, as you start advertising and realize, whoa, I need to spend more on advertising, plug it back in and see the impact, know how you need to change your pricing. It's really good to just have it on hand and keep tweaking till you get to a point where you feel comfortable and you feel safe. So that's a financial model. That wasn't so hard now, was it?